Hey y'all, my name is Kristie and welcome to my channel. This is my very first video here on this particular channel and I'm so excited to start this journey with all of you. My toddler is here in the room with me playing Yes. So he will be distracting. I see you. Alright, so just to give you guys a little bit of background information about me. Again, my name is Kristie and I am a mom of 3 kids. My husband went into the Army in January. It is now June. He graduated basic in April and he went right into OCS, which is Officer Candidate School, and he will graduate that in August, and from there he will go into his bullock, and from there we will get our orders. So we don't know how long his bullock training will be because he has not gotten his MOS as of yet. That will happen in approximately 2 more weeks. So right now he is in the middle of OCS, like I said, until August, which is when he graduates. Okay, so that is like a generalization of what's going on. I have another channel where you can watch our family vlogs, which I will link in the description box below, just so you guys can see who my husband is. We have seen each other again, like I said, at when he graduated basic. Shortly thereafter he got a weekend pass and he was able to come home, and that is when we actually got married. And then I saw him again it was a month after that, in May. He got a day on post pass because he wasn't yet in his training yet. He was kind of like in a holdover status with OCS. So I'm so sorry guys, but this is the only way I can get this done. So then I visited him that weekend. We got about a day and a half ish together, and I saw him again about a week ago. He got an overnight pass. We went to the military ball together. So a total of 3-4 times I've seen him since January, since he left. So I wanted to kind of like share more on this topic of how to kind of like deal with this as a girlfriend, fiance, spouse when you have kids. A lot of videos out there on YouTube have to deal with girlfriends or fiancés or even spouses. They are super young and they don't have kids. My husband and I are a blended family, so I have 2 kids prior to our relationship. I actually met him when my second wasn't even born yet, but that's another story for another day. And okay, so we've been together for a long time, and we have our third together, my third, his first together. He is 2, almost 3. He'll be 3 when my husband graduates. And okay, so yeah, that is that. So having a toddler,
Mommy, I can't fly.
I know.
I want a lot of order.
When my husband first told me that he went to the military, I was taken aback and very apprehensive about it, mainly because of our children. He was gonna be gone for a number of months. Many of those months, you know, during basic, you don't get to talk to your significant other, and I didn't know how that was going to be for my son, especially. Plus, he is so young and he can't really understand, okay, dad will be back. Versus my older kids, they are at an age where they can understand. There's a dog barking and he's scared. Where they're at an age where they can totally understand, you know, the logistics of the fact that he's going to be gone for this amount of months and we won't be able to see him or talk to him. So they were much more understanding, whereas our son Aiden, isn't very able to understand that. So I was very worried about how that was going to be for him. And of course, when we talked about it, you know, we realized, you know, this was just going to be a time that we have to sacrifice for now in order for, you know, our family to have a better life. And so that's what we talked about before he left. Now, this particular video, now that you kind of got caught up, is specifically about handling basic as a spouse when you have kids, or a significant other when you have kids. So let me just share a few points about that. So first of all, when your significant other goes into basic, I won't talk about the process very much because you can look at a zillion other videos about the process of basic and how that works. But when he left, and I had the understanding that I wasn't going to be able to talk to him, I could only write him letters. In your mind, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool, I can handle it. It's only for a few months. It was like 4 months. I initially was like, okay, no problem, but actually going through it, it was very, very hard for me. We, you know, had lived together for years, 3-4 years before he left, and so just him not being there anymore, it was very, very hard to adjust to. Yes, be very careful with that, okay? And so anyway, so in our children, it was kind of hard for them too, you know, because it's like they kind of like get out of their routine and things are just kind of like off, and it's just really kind of hard to deal with. So during basic, I didn't hear from him for about 2 to 3 weeks before I got our first letter. So at that time we were not married, so his parents are the ones who got like all of the address, where to write and all that kind of stuff, because they don't send it to multiple people, they only send it to one. So I had to wait for him to write me before I could write him. And so I got one letter when he was in reception, which is prior to basic, and I couldn't write him back because he was going to be leaving. So I got one letter then, and then I got another letter when he finally was able to write me in basic, which I said was like 3 to 4, maybe like 2 to 3 weeks later. It was close to 4 weeks actually. So when I got that first letter, I was so excited, and of course I saved all our letters, all the letters he sent me. But yeah, so it was really, really exciting to get a letter. And so before my husband went to basic, he was like, don't write me all the time, you know. He's like, I don't want to be embarrassed, so just write me when I write you. I said, okay. And so that's what I was doing. The mail is so jacked up, so I will leave some links below, guys, that have some resources that'll help you when it comes to mail. But they don't get letters like we get letters, so it goes through a very intricate process, and it takes them a long time to get a letter. So once we realized that, well, once he realized that, he was like, okay, go ahead and just keep writing me. So I would just write him like 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes more. Sometimes I would write him every day when it started getting a little close to the time where he was getting ready for his last phase, because it had been like 6 weeks by then. And you kind of get a little, not depressed, but really sad, and just start to really miss them. And so it's, when you have kids, it's like something is always happening. So before he left, Aiden was not talking that much. He was only saying a few words. He was only 2. And now he can say full sentences, and just like, I wanted to share all these different milestones with him, so I started writing him more and more and more. And he was so appreciative of that, because now when he got the mail call, he was getting like 3 or 4 letters versus 1 letter. Sometimes not even getting a letter at all because the mail was behind. So definitely write your significant other as much as possible, no matter what they say. Once they get in the middle of basic, they're going to be so appreciative of those letters. Another thing that I learned during this process is that eventually they will call you. Like, it takes a while, but eventually they will get an opportunity, depending on who their COs are and the different things that they go by, but eventually they'll be able to give you a call, and those calls were amazing. Once I got a call and we got to talk for like an hour, but that's it's rare. That's not a normal thing. They had just done really, really well at something and they got a longer time to talk, but that's not a normal thing. But it's a possibility, and I'm telling you, those calls are amazing. But we only got to talk on the phone like 3 times during the course of that 4-month period, so it wasn't very often at all. It's usually closer to the end of their phasing, and at the end of each phase, they're able to like give you a call, and update, and all that good stuff. My third thing is to find out where like their Facebook page is of their particular infantry and all that kind of stuff. I would stalk the Facebook page for updates. Sometimes they have pictures of my husband on there. Whatever kind of like major activities they were doing, they have photographs of it. So that was a good little thing. So it's kind of like you get to see them and see what they're doing. Alright, and so my final tip, you know, is just to kind of like stay busy, because I know people say this all the time, but you really need to stay busy, because sitting around thinking about them, what they're doing all the time, it brings you down. And so the best thing to do is just find a hobby, do things with the kids, just stay active, stay busy. And then also it gives you some things to tell your husband or your significant other about, or your wife, whoever is in the service. Just gives them more things for you to share when you're able to talk to them again. And you just say, hey, the kids and I did this. You know, it's just really good to stay active and to make the most of that time. It's hard, it's very difficult. There's many nights where I was really lonely and sad and just overwhelmed by it all. You know, being alone, you're basically a single parent when your service member is gone, and it can get a little bit difficult. Now for me, I was a single parent before I was married, so I understand how it is, so it wasn't too difficult for me. But you still gotta get used to them being around, and so with them being gone, it changes the dynamics so, you know, so greatly. And so it was just different. It was definitely hard and difficult sometimes, and I just genuinely missed him. And I still do, like every moment he's not here, things that my son does that he doesn't get to be a part of, you know, it weighs on my heart, and it can be very, very sad. But just stay focused on the end goal. I think this has been the main thing for me. It's just being focused on the end of it and it being worth it in the end. So if you guys have any questions for me personally, drop them in the comment box below. Again, I will be sharing another video next week about the next thing that I want to talk about, which is, you know, handling your significant other being in OCS, because it's a lot different than basic. Not as difficult, but still there are some things and challenges that you do have to go through with that as well. And I also want to share a little bit about the process of going from a fiance to a spouse when you have kids as well. So stay tuned for more videos as I go through my own journey and my own process. So every time I go through something, I want to share with you guys, because like I said, there's tons of videos out there, but a lot of these people are not parents, and it's just a little bit different. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Like I said, I'll have some resources in the description box for you as well, and a link to our vlog channel, which I hope you go check out and subscribe to as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to this channel and help me grow. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.